Hi everyone, in our last video we have gone through the concept of KVL and KCL, and in this video we are going to discuss few questions regarding that. Now here is a question. Here we have 30-volt battery involved and the 2 ohm, 3 ohm, 8 ohm and 5 ohm resistors are involved here. We can simply redraw the circuit in such a way. See here, since your 3 ohm and 5 ohm resistors are in series, your effective resistance will be R1 plus R2, right? That is nothing but 3 ohm plus 5 ohm, which is 8 ohm. Now your 8 ohm and 8 ohm were in parallel, right? So then since these were in parallel, the effective resistance in parallel is nothing but R1 into R2 by R1 plus R2, right? So this is 8 into 8 by 2 times of 8. Here your 8 and 8 get cancelled, and then you get 4. See, here you have 30-volt battery, here 2 ohm, and here you have 4 ohm resistance. Or else there is a simple shortcut to write this. Since here the resistances were equal, whenever in parallel the resistances are equal, the effective resistance will be half of this resistance. That is, since here you have 8 ohm and 8 ohm, your effective resistance will be 8 by 2, which is nothing but 4 ohm. And now here your 2 ohm and 4 ohm are in series again, right? So you can redraw the circuit as, here you have 30-volt battery, and here 2 ohm plus 4 ohm, which is nothing but your 6 ohm. As we know the formula V is equal to IR, we can calculate I from here. Now we get I is equal to V by R. Since your voltage is 30 and your resistance involved is 6, so your current will be nothing but 5 ampere. Now see, if you consider these as a junction, because a junction is nothing but involvement of more than 2 elements, right? Here since your 8 ohm, 2 ohm and 3 ohm resistors are getting involved, you can consider this as a junction, right? So in the junction, sum of currents entering the junction is equal to the sum of the currents leaving the junction, right? Let us here we can assume current direction as of our wish. So let us suppose this current to be entering, that is as I, and this current I1 which is leaving out of the junction, and I2 which is also leaving out of the junction. So by KCL we can write at this node sum of the current entering at the junction, that is only I, and the sum of currents leaving the junction, which is I1 and then I2. So I is equal to I1 plus I2. Now you have to find I1 and I2 values, right? See, whenever you have the resistances equal here, your current will also divide equally. Since your total current is 5 ampere and here you have resistors 8 ohm and 8 ohm, right? So your current will divide equally as 2.5 ampere and then 2.5 ampere again. And here you may get a doubt, what if the two resistances were not equal? We'll discuss about this in the next coming question. Okay, now your I1 will become 2.5 ampere and I2 will become 2.5 ampere, which will also satisfies our KCL, that is 2.5 plus 2.5, which will gives the value as 5 ampere again. And now since we have found this value of I1 and I2, our task is to find the currents, voltages and power in each element, right? Now since we have to find the voltage across this 2 ohm, we know that voltage is nothing but current multiplied by resistance, right? Now the current across this 2 ohm is I is nothing but your 5 ampere, right? And here the resistance involved is 2 ohm. So your current, voltage across this 2 ohm is nothing but current multiplied by that respective resistance, which is 5 into 2, which gives you 10 volt. In the similar way, you can calculate for this 8 ohm and then for this 3 ohm and as well as for your 5 ohm. Hope you can do that. And we also wanted to calculate, since we have got currents, we also wanted to calculate power in each element. As we know that power is equal to voltage multiplied by current, or else we can also use I square into R, but it is better to use V into I, because instead of squaring those values and then multiplying them again, as since we are here we are finding the voltages, right? So simply use V into I formula. Now to calculate this power across this 2 ohm, which is nothing but your voltage, that is 10 ohm, multiplied by the current, which is 5 ampere. 10 into 5, which is 50 watt. In the similar way we can calculate dissipate for this 8 ohm, 3 ohm and as well as 5 ohm. And now here is a key important point to remember, that is in any circuit power delivered by source is equal to power dissipated. See, which is nothing but here this was a source, right? That is your battery, which is a source, and these were the elements, that is in resistors the power is dissipated, right? So the power delivered by this source should be equal to power dissipated across all these resistors. Okay, now the power that is delivered by this source is nothing but V into I, right? Since your V, that is 30 volt, and the current is I, that is nothing but 5. So 30 into 5, which is 150 watt. And by calculating the power across this 2 ohm, 8 ohm, 3 ohm and 5 ohm, and by sum all of this, we should get written 150 watt. That is your power delivered by the source should be equal to power dissipated by these elements. Here these elements like a power dissipated by these resistors. Okay, hope you have understood. And of coming to this another question, here also you wanted to find current, voltage and power in all these elements. Again, since your 2 ohm and 5 ohm were in series, now your effective resistance will become 5 ohm. And here you have 20 ohm resistor, and here 4 ohm, here 6 ohm, and this is 56 volt battery. Now here, since your 5 ohm and 20 ohm were in parallel, your effective resistance is R1 into R2, that is 5 into 20 by R1 plus R2, that is 5 plus 20, which is nothing but 25. Now 5 ones are 5 5s are, again 5 ones are 5 4s are. Now your effective resistance will be 4 ohm, and again here you have 4 ohm and this 6 ohm, and here 56 voltage battery. Since your 4 ohm, 6 ohm were in series, again the sum of this entire one, which is 14 ohm, and here you have 56 volt, and again by using the formula V is equal to IR, from this we get I is equal to V by R, right? And from this we'll get the value of current as 4 ampere. And now previously, as we have this resistances as equal, the current has also been divided equally, but this is not the case that your resistances are equal. Here your resistances are unequal. Now you may get a doubt how to find the current among these 20 ohm resistor and then this 5 ohm resistor. Here you can approach in two ways, either conceptually or simply by using this formula. Firstly, let me introduce conceptually. See here, as you have 5 ohm and 20 ohm, your this entire sum is 5 and 20, which is nothing but 25 ohm, right? So here, as our current is 4 ampere, so for 25 ohm, see, for 25 ohm, here 4 ampere current. For 1 ohm, let us suppose it to be x, and then cross multiply this. We'll get x into 25 is equal to 4, x is equal to 4 by 25, which is nothing but 0.16. That means for 1 ohm, we'll get 0.16. But here, since we have 20 ohm, 0.16 into 20, which is 3.2. And here, if we have 5, since we have 5 ohm, 0.16 into 5, which is 0.8 ohm. But here is the logic. See, we know that V is equal to IR, right? And I is equal to V by R. It means whenever your current is high, wherever your current is high, there your resistance will be low. That means whenever you have low resistance, more current should be flown. Here, among this 5 ohm and 20 ohm, the low resistance, least resistance is 5 ohm, right? So among this 0.8 and 3.2, which is the highest current? 3.2. So this 3.2 should be flown through this 5 ohm resistor and 0.8 through this 20 ohm resistor. If you feel this as confusion or else difficulty, then you can solve simply by using this formula, that is I1 is equal to total current. Here I is total current multiplied by the opposite resistor, that is R2, by the sum of this total resistors, that is R1 plus R2. So to find I1 current, now your I, which is 4 ampere, And now your R2 is, see, for I1 the opposite resistor should be considered. Since this is your I1, the resistor which is opposite to this I1, which is 5 ohm, right? So 4 into 5 by R1 plus R2 means 5 plus 20, 25. On calculating this, you will get 0.8, which leads to the same result, right, in both of the cases. And now we know that I2. So to calculate I2, this is the formula. I, that is total current, multiplied by the opposite resistor to this I2 by this sum of the total resistance, that is R1 plus R2. Since we considered this as I2, this total current here is 4 ampere, right? And now your R1, which is opposite to this 5 ohm, is 20 ohm, right? So 4 into 20 by R1 plus R2, which is 25, which leads to 3.2. Now in this way, we calculate the values of I1 and I2 when the resistors are unequal. And again, as previously we have discussed, V is equal to IR and P is equal to VI. By using those formulas, you will calculate these voltages across 5 ohm, 20 ohm and all such through all these resistors. Hope you can calculate these by your own. And in order to verify whether our answer is right or wrong, we can use this important statement, that is power delivered by source is equal to power dissipated, right? Now your source here is 56 volt, right? Now across this 56 volt, the current I is flowing, right? And here, since your I is 4, 56 into 4, that is power delivered by source, equal to power dissipated, that is power dissipated, power across 3 ohm, 2 ohm, 20 ohm, 4 ohm and 6 ohm. By some all of this power delivered should be equal to power dissipated. Only in such case your answer is correct. Okay, in such way you will verify. And as till now we have discussed like basic questions regarding this. Now let us discuss a complex question. As the video is getting lengthy, I'll make a separate video for these questions. And if you have any doubts regarding these two questions, you can ask me in the comment section. Thank you for watching. Subscribe my channel for more videos and feel free to ask your doubts. Thank you for watching.